Thank you for joining me today. This is not going to be an upholstery project as such. I did these for a friend of mine a number of years ago, and she has a son. We all have children that do things, but he has a habit of pulling off the buttons. So she's given me the buttons. I'm not sure if I can reuse these or whether I've got to make new ones, because the clips to hold the buttons in place on some of them are still in the chairs. The other problem I have, I did one chair, put the buttons on, she collected it, and then she dropped the other chair off. When the first chair went back to her, her son started picking the buttons off, and I replaced all of the buttons, but at separate times. So I've actually got two different sized buttons, which is not very good. Neither of us noticed until I was at her house the other day, and it occurred to me when she was showing me the bag of buttons that that was a problem. So let's get on with it. The first thing I've got to do is undo the centre of this back. I don't seem to think I have to do the sides, just the centre back. I'm looking at these staples. I haven't used this size in many years. Nice thin ones. This is just going to take a little minute to get done. I can't ruin the fabric. I've got to use this fabric to put back in. The chair that I took out previously, I thought had this on, but I was nicely surprised to find that it didn't. The last chair I took apart, I had used this, which is a lot easier to undo because you just open it up and then reseal it. This, I don't think I can reuse this because it's going to tear that up. That's a little bit infuriating. It's not good, that's stuck there. I'm going to take a little minute to pull that out. I'm going to replace this. So if I have to take this out again, it'll be a lot easier. It's a little bit infuriating, but sometimes you have to alter things. On the second side, you can see most of the teeth have buckled. This was really quite awkward to get out. I'm going to have to straighten these teeth in order to get the back fabric off. I was worried I was actually going to tear the fabric on the side of the chair. You can reuse these, but if you have to take them out again for any reason, like I've just had to, this style of back tacking is probably not the best. Okay, I'm going to have to get pliers to do that. This one here is missing and that one there's missing. I'm going to pull those two out like that, and I'll work out which ones are missing on the other side and take that one out too. Got to find the wires and pull that out. There isn't any wire in this one, not that I can find. I've got 3 buttons to replace. I prefer to use Drits, but the half ball cover buttons, because they have teeth. So I'm just going to cut around here a little bit wider than the button, like this. They've got a shape on the back. I don't ever use it. I'm so used to cutting them out this way, and I don't often get them wrong. So I cut that round like that and go like north to south. So I've got my warp and my weft threads, which I'm going to pull in like that, hook them onto a couple of teeth on that side, pinching hold of it, and catch it a couple of teeth on that side too. Then I'm going to go at the other quarter, catch some teeth under there and then under there, and then I'm going to work my way around so it's nice and smooth. I do like to use a heavier duty pin than a normal dressmaking pin in order to do this. It usually goes in quite nicely. Make sure it's pushed right up underneath those teeth. If it's quite smooth under there, the back goes on a lot better. That one needs to be smoothed out just a little bit there. Line up the back, and with luck I should be able to push that on all the way around, and then it clips into place. I'm now going to do the other buttons exactly the same way. I find that using these ones, I don't ruin as many buttons as if I have the die that you push the fabric and the button mold into, and then you've got the back that you push down. And not only that, these ones for this particular chair last a little bit longer than those ones because he has to really pull to get this metal to come through. If you have a thin fabric, put a liner under it so that the metal doesn't shine through. These ones are okay, it's quite thick fabric and it has a backing on it. I have cut 3 lengths of ties like that and doubled it over. I find if I poke the cut ends through the shank, it goes in better than trying to fold the loop through. Fold that through and I've got one with its tie-in. I'm going to do that to the other two, so I've got everything ready to go. I'm going to use this hole for this one. Pop that all the way through to the back in as straight a line as you possibly can. Oh, blimey. You'll find it easier if you push the needle through first and try to hold the threads and the needle all together. So fold that over, push it and pull it all the way through to the back. Make sure that you've got long ties there to support the weight of the button, and pull all the way through. I'm going to repeat that for the next two buttons. Be careful, move your body away from where the needle comes through because you don't want to hurt yourself. And now this one. I've got my wad of cotton here. You could use a piece of fabric if you wanted to. That is perfectly okay too. I'm going to pop this between the ties at the back and cross over the ties at the back to hold the wad of cotton in place, and pull it just a little bit and knot it off. Same with the second one. Between the two ties, cross it over like that so it holds. Pull it quite tight, keeping an eye on the front. That will hold it, and then just knot it off so it can't slip. And then the last one, exactly the same way. I'm going to line this up. It's got a bit bent up that end, as well as I can with the line that is originally there, like that. What I sometimes do, and I'm hoping I'll be able to do this, is I put my ruler behind there to make sure I keep it as straight as possible. Then I'm going to push this in here, and I'm going to put one into each of those holes, readjusting everything as I go because I really want that to be as straight as possible. I might have to take those out. It's a little bit wonky. That one's going to have to come out, but it'll hold for now. And then on, I found over the years if I put a ruler in there against there, it will hold this in place. It's just slow going. Before I start pulling in the back, I'm going to pull that over. I have a centre mark here. Pull that down to the centre mark and secure. I'm going to just pull down to about 2 inches from the side so it's nice and even, like this. Now I'm going to just pull this down so it's almost touching the other side. And the reason why I haven't completely secured this at the bottom is because I'm going to need to fit it in, because the original side was here and this was underneath. I don't need quite so much fabric under there, but I do need this to be tight enough that when I pull it, it doesn't pull too much from the other side. I'll work my way all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom. Keep it as even as you can. So I'm not gonna pull it too far. I think if I cut it almost to here where the original side was, I think that'll be far enough over. I can trim it back if I need to. I'm looking at this end here. I think it'll be fine. That just folds in underneath like that. In this area, I'm just going to take it onto the second fold line where the inside, outside, whichever way you look at it, edge of the original came to. And I'm going to pop that under like that, all the way up to the top. I think that's perfect. So I'm going to cut all the way down on that line now. I don't want to change that, I don't think. That will just fit under quite nicely all the way down. And then I'm just going to hammer it into place. Now because they're so far over, they're not going to pull any corners. It should work perfectly. Work a few and then back. I think actually that looks better than it did originally. This area I will take a little bit more off because it does come out slightly, but it's not going to be very much. Maybe 1/4 of an inch along here. It's so that when you push it underneath like that, you can hide the outside edge. I think I can just twist that and fold that a little bit deeper if necessary. I think that'll be fine. The top tends to come over the bottom a little bit further, so work your way forward and then back, and that hides everything. Before I had put this in, I did put a couple more staples in to hold it tight. You just don't want to go overboard. You don't want to go all the way to the outside edge of these, otherwise you cannot fold everything underneath that you want to, and under again. The teeth catch everything that needs to be caught. Do I need to cut that back anymore. I'm going underneath the teeth here to the back of that trim. I think I need to just pull that out and take a little bit more off so it's hidden. It's a case of just working it until it's in place and out of sight. You don't want to cut it too tight, because if you do that, then you don't have enough fabric to put underneath. There we go. If I push that back with the V of my tack remover, it should take it in far enough. And then again, little taps until it's all in place. I don't want that little piece to be showing. There we go. Make sure you go on the outside edge. Because there's no piping, you really want that to be sealed. And then next time, if you have to take it off, you just pull that up like this a little ways and pull the fabric out from underneath. And you can reuse this back tacking a few times before you need to replace it. The strip tacking is a different subject altogether. Having already used that twice, some of the teeth were coming off, so I'm going to just secure that there. I'm not securing this side of the chair yet. I'm going to put the back tacking in exactly the same way as I had. I always work from the top to the bottom. I'm just going to take my time lining that up like I did and working out where I need to finish it up. Before I set the last ones, I'm going to cut here. I don't want to go around the corner. I want it to finish just prior to the edge there. And I'll line that back up here like that and secure it here. Usually what I do if I'm moving from the top to the bottom this way is I will staple a few and work back. I find that easier. I think it's just the top one on here that needs to be replaced. All the others went in perfectly well. I'm going to start pulling those over like that. As I get to the top, I'll change it out. Again, I'm just going to pull it all the way down and finish about 2 inches from the end there. And then you'll get a better finish, and it holds as you're pulling it into place. Not all the way around, because you do want to be able to fold this. I'm going to cut it to the second edge where the metal rail was. That seems to give me plenty of room on both sides, all the way to the top. I can trim it back like I did on the other side if necessary. And again, tuck it in. That should fold nicely underneath here. Tuck it in all the way to the back of that metal trim. Some places you might need to pull down and into position like that and then work back, but for the most part it should just go in, because that's where the natural fold is in this case. And work your way along, securing it into position. I'm going to rework the top there, but I can do that after I've got everything else into position all the way down to the bottom. Thank you for joining me on this little project. This chair turned out to be a little bit more complicated because I had to change the way the back went in. But apart from that, it was actually quite a simple project to do. If you want to see more from me, please subscribe, hit the bell button, a few thumbs up would be brilliant.